So this year, my company is actually turning 25 years, and this TV show, Open for Business, is turning 20 years. So I've been interviewing hundreds of small business owners over the past few decades on their best tips and advice on how they run their company. But in this edition of Open for Business, I'm actually going to share my top 25 things that I think are really important for small business owners to know and to do to thrive in their business. So stay tuned as we open for business. Hi, I'm Marjorie Jung. I'm the host of this show, and today I'm actually going to be talking about my business. I have a public relations firm, like I said, for the past 25 years. I got into business helping my father turn his company around, which was located up in Alexandria, Virginia. He had a printing and publishing company. Well, actually, my parents did. It was a true mom and pop organization, business, and a really bad recession happened in the 1990s, and I had to go back and think about what I learned at the University of Maryland in journalism and PR. And I recall that they were always talking about you send in a press release with hard news. So we happened to be turning 30 years at that point during the recession, and I did send in a press release to the local media up in Alexandria, Virginia, the Washington, D.C. area, and it got picked up. And that press release actually really helped save the company, and I saw the power of PR. And when I actually moved to Savannah, Georgia, I was married at the time, and we got stationed down here in the Deep South. And I started a PR firm in 1995 when I was 35 years old. I saw a big need. There wasn't 100% organic type of PR firm here. And it was right at the time when Google was getting started. They actually started 2 years after I started. So it was a whole new industry, a whole new way of doing PR, online PR, building your reputation. So I started that company 25 years ago, and actually when I started in the beginning, I used to do everything for everybody because I had the printing background, I had the design background, I had the publishing background. So I would do everything for all my clients, but they kept coming back to me and saying, hey, can you get me back on television? It's creating great word of mouth. Or can you get us in the newspaper again? It's creating great word of mouth. It's creating great community buzz. So very soon after starting my company, I narrowed what I did and I became 100% PR. I stopped doing design. I stopped doing printing. I stopped doing everything except creating campaigns to help increase your visibility in the community and online. So that is really a very important tip that I think most small business owners should really hear. Become the expert in your area, and you become the authority, and do one thing and do it really, really well. Be the best. How do you define success? When you know what you want your business to look like and what success means to you, you know how to navigate a lot better. So when I started my company, success to me was being able to be a stay-at-home mom and raise my daughter and work virtually. Somebody mentioned about going online and taking a values assessment test. And what that revealed to me was that freedom was the most important value for me. I needed the freedom to be able to take my daughter to school, pick her up if she got sick, attend her games. I wanted that freedom. I didn't want to be stuck in a office downtown that would take time away from raising my daughter. So I would say if you can define what your success looks like, do it. I wished I had been better at was delegation. I did run the company completely by myself with a bunch of 1099s for many, many years, too many years actually. And it wasn't until I sat down with a business coach and actually took the time out to figure out how to grow the company and take it to the next step, did things really start to move. I often tell young parents that own their own company, delegate now. That it's only going to mean that you're going to have more time with your kids, and I wish I had done that. My business coach, what she did with me is she sat down and she made me write out everything that I did on little yellow sticky Post-it notes. And by the time I wrote everything down, it covered all of her walls in her office. And then she sent me home with some homework. She said, now you need to assign somebody to each of these jobs. So that's when I looked into hiring and getting more folks involved as a 1099. And it really, really started to move the needle. But what I'm going to tell you is delegate sooner. Tip is schedule time to work on your business, not in your business. And I did this by scheduling every single Friday. I coined it NWF, No Work Friday, but I did work, but I worked on my business, and I would get caught up, and I scheduled that time for planning. Research shows that if you have a mentor, you are going to make more money. So my tip to you is get a mentor. There's an organization called SCORE. They're a national organization. They're made up of thousands and thousands of business folks across the United States, and they have chapters all over the place that want to mentor you for free. They are giving back to their community. So you can go to score.org and find yourself a mentor. My next tip is be the authority in your field. I was fortunate enough when I first started my company many years ago to take the Dale Carnegie public speaking class. And little did I know how much public speaking my career would bring me, but also encouraging our clients to get out and do public speaking. If you can overcome the fear of public speaking, your business will soar. Nobody likes to do it. They all cringe when we make recommendations that they, be a speaker at the chamber, or they create a YouTube series, or go on the speaking circuit. But the folks that do become very powerful public speakers amplify their visibility and their credibility immensely. A community-based business, it's very important to get involved, and there's so many boards and activities that you can select from, because us as small business owners, we want to make our community a better place. But the best tip I can give you is not only get involved, but become the leader, become the president of that board. Not only will it expose you to hundreds of new people that will get to know your business, it will also position you as somebody that the community looks up to, and that it builds a lot of credibility. And by the way, it ends up in the newspaper, it ends up online, and it creates a lot of visibility and goodwill. So my tip to you is not only get involved, but become the president. Don't just be on the board, become the president. Learn something new every single day of your life. Not only learn something about your industry, you need to keep on top of the latest business practices. If you don't know what's happening with AI and Bitcoin right now, you're behind the times. So learning means scheduling a time every single day of your life to learn. Learn on YouTube, read a book, take webinars from your trade industry, schedule times with your coaches. There is so much out there, and you have to stay ahead of the curve by staying informed. My next tip is create a signature look. And mine came about very naturally because as a single mom, I had to streamline my life and make it very, very easy to not only take care of my daughter, take care of the business, take care of the house. So I ended up buying, all my clothes were black and white and pearls. That was it. And it was really as a way to make my life easier. Come to find out over the years, people actually use it as a branding thing to brand themselves and brand their company. So my tip is create a signature look. Best things I ever did was get into a group called the Women Board of Directors, and it was made up of 3 other women, sometimes 4 other women, and we would get together monthly and we would have lunch, and it would be all business. We had 1 hour and each of us had 10 to 15 minutes to talk about best practices. You know, what advice do you have on this situation? And this group is not only is it very educational, they also, that group of the board of directors, they become your eyes and ears in the community. And we all know that the #1 way you get new business is from word of mouth. 92% of all new business comes from word of mouth. So now my board of directors, when they're out in the community and they hear somebody needs my type of service, they will refer them. And vice versa. If I'm in the community and I hear that somebody needs a service that they have, guess what? I'm going to refer them first. So my piece of advice to you is to form a board of directors. Talk less, listen more. There is nothing worse than being in a boardroom and somebody taking the floor and goes on and on and on. Or if you're in a networking function and somebody doesn't know when to be quiet. So it's a huge pet peeve of mine. People today don't listen enough, and they're sitting there in a conversation and they're trying to figure out the next thing that they're going to say and not even hearing what the other person is saying. So my tip to you is be a wonderful listener. Stick to it. Over the years, I have seen so many small business owners start something and then close it down, and then start something else and then close it down. Yes, as small business owners, we love that energy of creating something and birthing it. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but your company will never be sustainable if you keep jumping from thing to thing. So stick to it. So accounting, that's my next tip. Understand, love, and appreciate accounting. It's not every small business owner's favorite part of the business, but I'm going to tell you, you need to learn it inside and out. You need to understand how to read a P&L. You need to understand cash flow. You really need to be looking at it every single day. There are courses that you can take on how to use QuickBooks, and there's a lot of free help, but learn money. Can you tell me in one sentence what you do, what your company does? That is the number one problem I see with especially new businesses. When I ask them, what do they do? They take a deep breath and they say, well, we do a lot of things. Well, if word of mouth is the number one way that you're going to get new business, you better figure out what your conversational, repeatable tagline is in the community. So if I'm at a coffee shop and we're waiting there for 5 minutes and somebody in back of me says, what do you do? You better make sure you've got one sentence that is conversational, repeatable, and they can go home and Google you. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from a business coach. And she said, you have to set expectations. You set expectations, especially in your contract. For example, in January, you're going to receive these 3 things. February, you're going to receive these 3 things. Setting expectations and exceeding expectations is what keeps your customers coming back, because they have something measurable. I've had so many years of coaching and taking classes that somewhere along the way I learned about the power of visualization. If you can see it, you can achieve it. And this coach actually was a coach for the Olympic folks. And he would make them visualize them swimming and coming in first. And he said, you can do this also for your business. He said, do not get out of bed in the morning until you can visualize your entire day full of success. My next tip is save money. There will be another recession. There will be another rainy day. And the more you can put away for those occasions, the better you're going to be in the long run. Being a single mom, I had to learn to live on a whole lot less. I bought the least expensive house in the best neighborhood I could find. I bought a used car. Actually, I drove that car for, the car is 22 years old. And I just sold it and bought another used car. But I kept up with it, and I didn't go out and spend a whole lot of money on a brand new car. So that's my tip. Save money. This is a credit card tip or a credit card hack. I put everything on one credit card. All my business expenses onto one credit card. I try and buy everything on the credit card, but of course I pay everything off at the end of the month. But if you get a card that has cash back, that money adds up. So you just have to find a credit card that has cash back. So my next tip is about backing up your business, backing up your data. So who remembers 1998 when we had to evacuate with Hurricane Floyd? I remember packing this great big huge hard drive into the back of my little car, and that's about all I could fit in my car. So when the cloud came along in the early 2000s, I made a switch over to Basecamp HQ. So yes, I'm giving a shout out to these guys. They've actually been around since 1999. It was probably one of the first online shared document platforms. And hats off to you. It just revolutionized the way we do business. We could have our visibility team working really from anywhere and able to log on and share information. And that was super, super important. But even more important was your data was always safe. if something happened to your hard drive at home, you can't recover it. But this type of platform is invaluable. So the good thing about being a local, community-based business is that we all help each other. And this tip is about remembering our local charities. These charities are crucial to the sustainability of our community, of any town. And they never get enough funding from the city. And us small business owners can really make a difference in the sustainability of these small local charities. It will actually make our community a better place if small business owners can donate to these charities. And along the way, what we tell our clients too is if you do have a partnership with these charities, let the media know about it. It will give more visibility to these charities, much needed visibility that they need in order to grow and thrive and do their beautiful work in the community. So my tip is remember our local charities. Tap into the power of your trade association. Every single industry has a trade association. And the association is there to help educate you about your industry. They're there to give you awards for being best of in your industry. They are a very, very good resource. Our trade association is the Public Relations Society of America. I can go on there and at any time pull from any type of webinar, any type of, I can sign up for any type of class. It is, and they also keep you up to date with the latest trends. So if you haven't joined your trade association, I believe it's money well spent. Know every aspect of your business and how it works. Know your accounting inside and out. Know your marketing inside and out. Know your product inside and out. When you start to grow and then you start to outsource to other companies, you will know exactly what to look for and what to expect. Nobody can ever pull the wool over your eyes. So I had to learn that valuable lesson helping my father's business, helping him to turn it around. And it was invaluable. I mean, without knowing all the ins and outs of every part of the business, we never would have been able to do it. So know your business inside and out. Shop local. If you're a community-based business, shop local. Do you want referrals? Do you want other businesses in town to refer you? You better shop local. 20-some years ago, Buy Local Savannah started a really, really, really important organization. And it encourages small businesses and people to all shop local. When you do, a large percent of that money stays here local in the economy. So shop local. So this tip is about winning awards. One of the nicest things you can do for a small business owner is submit their company to win an award with the Chamber of Commerce or Buy Local Savannah or their trade industry. What a lot of business owners don't realize is that you also, as the business owner, can submit that nomination in hopes of being selected. So once you do win that award, it builds huge, huge credibility in the community and online. When somebody goes to research your company or research you, they're going to see that you are an award-winning company. So I like to tell our clients to aggressively go after them because you deserve it. Discipline is a really, really big character trait for small business owners. If you want to get all the things that you have to get done every single day, you have to plan them out. And I start by doing that on Sunday nights. My work week starts Sunday about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I plan out the entire week. And I realize what my big projects are, and I make sure I get to them the first part of the week and in the morning, because as the day goes on, things happen. You start checking email more, you start checking social media more. I try and limit it to twice a day, checking email and doing social media. But discipline is so crucial if you're going to move the needle and really grow your business.